Hi everyone and welcome to Hana's Tea Room. Today is what would you do Q&A gaming stream. Just our favorite sweet treat segment that we enjoy each day, or at least each every other day. The first what would you do question would be, what would you do if you had a 2D model made? I'd be honored that somebody did a 2D version of my artwork and was able to animate it nicely. I'd be happy too that they loved it enough to make a 2D version. And I would love to see it move and talk on the screen. I'd also hope for the assist in placing it in my OBS and setting up the face tracking software and all the movement software. It would be a little easier than trying to do it myself. What would I do if I had my dream cottage? I'd set one room up as a studio, bake quite a bit, develop the garden as a sanctuary, and decorate with lots of cozy different features, like lamps and flowers and warm pillows, and set up my plushies in different parts of the cottage. That way it'd be very, very warm and inviting to everybody who came to visit. I'd also host a lot of tea parties in the patio area. And I'd also try to for a pure white theme and then accent things with different colored cushions. Make it very, very cozy and warm. What would I do if I had a gaming laptop? I would play Minecraft, Skyrim, and Final Fantasy XIV, and invest in a comfy gamer's chair. So that way, it'd be nice and ergonomically friendly to my back, and make long gaming sessions that much more fun. Yes, I already play Minecraft, but the PC version is a little bit different than the Nintendo Switch version, and I'd love to try it to see what it's like. Same for Skyrim, you can also play it on the Nintendo Switch, but there's a bigger graphical upgrade to the Anniversary Edition for Skyrim, so I want to try it where it would be most stable and see what's the difference between the Steam version and Switch Anniversary Edition. Right now I cannot install the Anniversary Edition to my Switch because it's way too much space, and my Nintendo Switch doesn't carry that much disk space to begin with. Back in the day, people played games off cartridges, which was more helpful, and you didn't have to install everything onto the system. And my brother and I both agree that it made life a lot easier when you didn't have to worry about disk space. You just had to worry about shelf space when it came to video games. We always loved playing Twine or Perfect Dark or a lot of the Mario games and the wrestling games because you didn't have to worry about disk space and you can just enjoy the game itself for what it was. I love playing Duck Hunt, and my uncle had given us a full gun set to play Duck Hunt on the Nintendo. And it was really, really fun listening to the laughing dog whenever you missed. It kind of took away the stress from missing the little duck tokens. Nowadays, they don't use that whole gun system because it promotes too much violence. So you just can play it on Nintendo Switch with the little touch screens. I don't know if it's still available for platforms or anything, but I would assume if it was on the Nintendo Switch, you'd be touching the screen. What would I do if I had a pet? If I had a bunny, I'd do my best to gain its trust, then pamper it with love and care, and give it a lot of space to run around and probably build something for it in the backyard so it can enjoy fresh air and sunshine. Or at least make a cozy den for it to run around. And I'd try to feed it and clean after it as much as I could. In the meanwhile, since my family are allergic, I have my plushies to pamper and treat really, really nicely and act like they're my pets. I even have a cinnamon roll plushie, the little doggy, and a lot of My Melody items, and lots of samurais, and lots of different types of plushies that can be like a pet. And I always treat them really, really nicely, like they're really close friends. What would I do in a zombie apocalypse? I would try and gather ingredients, medical supplies, and take up the katana so I can protect me and whoever is with me at the time. Yes, I'm not the most violent type, but the katana can be therapeutic at times. I've been practicing with the bamboo version when I was a couple of years ago. It strengthens your arms, and you're not actually hitting anything. You're just swinging the little tiny wooden sword around to get your exercise in calisthenics. I don't know where it is in the house, but I'm sure I'll find it when I need it. It's good for self-defense purposes, too. So, I'm sure it's somewhere in one of the closets, because I haven't been able to see it since we last put it away in storage. What would I do if I was lost? I would try to find a landmark, or depend on my GPS on my Garmin, or intellectually ask for help for any people on the trail or around the neighborhood or somewhere that I've mistakenly gotten lost in. Consulting an expert would be my biggest first steps. Then use the emergency system on my GPS to have someone find me from there, if I didn't have anybody around. I most likely pick places that don't require lots and lots of help finding my way around. I always have a landmark ready with me, and I always do research on wherever I go. So, to lose my way, I'd have to be in a very, very big, extreme situation. Just like if I was in a zombie apocalypse, I would definitely make myself a landmark or a key place that I need to get back to and not divert from it too much. I'd also have a farm so I didn't have to go too far away from my safe zone when I'm defending it, or finding a nice peaceful moment away from all the danger. What would I do if I was in real life Minecraft? First, I'd find a bed, then I'd build a quick structure, then I'd make a crafting table so I could actually realistically build the bed, and then the tools, and explore for the materials that I needed. And then I'd take the time after I've got my materials, my tools, and torches. I'd go explore for a flower biome so I have a nice, beautiful location to set up camp permanently, and make sure it's near water so I can realistically go fishing. And then also find seeds and different planting material to make myself a farm. That way I'm completely settled and safe and have everything I need just in case of a mob invasion or something like that, or all the pillagers come and visit without us knowing in that Minecraft world, which is technically what would happen if you're not in peaceful mode. I'd also try to find one of those mansions, the forest mansions, and then once I finished emptying it of all the bad mobs and saving the LAs, I'd use that as a base. It's already well established and has plenty of room and has anything I would possibly need, all in one place. It's very beautiful once you've conquered it and use it for your very own. I've only found it once, and I'm hoping I can find it again. And I'm hoping that if I was in real life Minecraft, I would find that forest mansion and then use it as my own. If I was in real life Final Fantasy, I'd try to be a medic or a bard, and I'd try to set up a cafe or inn to gather intel while helping others. I would definitely not pick anything too requiring me of going out and fight dangerous objects, but if I had no other choice, I'd definitely become a swordsperson or a mage. Anything that I can do long distance fighting, or in this case with the sword, go close combat. Close combat was always my specialty in RPGs, and usually is my specialty when it comes to RPGs. Close combat or staking out a spot that has only one entrance and then just spamming the melee button for all the long distance attacks like arrows or guns or magic. I found it was easier because they can't exactly invade your territory if they're trying to outrun bullets or outrun magical attacks. If you can't find a room all to yourself, the melee is the best option. You can keep on running and then once you get to a safe spot, chop them down. But if I had a choice, it would definitely bard or medic, so I didn't have to fight things realistically. And the intel at a cafe and inn for those RPG games are always very, very valuable. What if I was in a world where it was always spring? I'd be really happy, skeptical, but very happy. Why skeptical? Because in the Capo anime that I enjoyed back in the day, that was the premise of the anime. A world that was always eternally spring with all the beautiful cherry blossoms on a crescent-shaped island. The reason why it was a little more disturbing is because they had a giant cherry blossom that granted wishes, no matter what the selfish wish happened to be. Say you're in love with somebody, but the other person's in love with someone else. The cherry blossom tree would grant that wish absolutely, at the detriment of detriment of their loved one. So, yes, he'd be free to date you or marry you, but his true love would be dead. And if you were wanting to understand others, because you're so shy and introverted, they'd give you the power of telepathy, where you could hear everything, even if you didn't want to hear everything. It was kind of scary and sad at the same time, because a lot of people got their wishes granted, but they caused a lot of trouble at the same time. They didn't want to hurt people. They didn't want to be hurt themselves with the wish. They wanted it just because normally, when you make a wish, you don't expect it to have bad consequences. It wasn't until somebody put a dampener on it that they could actually control the sort of outcome that the wishes brought. Or if there was a selfish wish, it wouldn't get granted at all. It meant sometimes that the trees and everything went back to normal, but once they figured out how to master everything, they were able to make that world super peaceful. At least what I can get from the premise of Da Capo 5. Yes, there's plenty of little sequels to it, but there's always a sad undertone because the wishes that get granted are not always the best wish for the entire community. After confirming whether or not this was not occurring in that spring eternally world, I'd be able to relax a little, because then I would know that I'm not going to accidentally make a wish or accidentally do something that would cause the community sadness. I'd be able to just enjoy that world of spring in all the pretty blossoms and flowers and warm weather and pure gorgeousness that a spring world would bring. What would I do if I had infinite funds? Well, I definitely take care of everything like the family and then tech items, and then I'd also do renovations and get transportation, all that sort of jazz. But I don't think I'd lose the nobility of having money, because if you have infinite money, you don't appreciate the money that you have like you would if you're having finite amounts. You learn the value more if you have a finite amount of money. So no, I probably wouldn't want infinite money. Yes, it has its benefits, but it also has its disadvantages too. Growing up, I learned that money has value, and you should always make sure that you give back to the people around you and work for the money. My grandparents did, my great-grandparents did, and so did my family. So I figure, yes, I would not take it for granted that money exists and work hard for it like I do for my drawings, my paintings, and streaming like this. I'm lucky as it is, the way it is. I'm also lucky with all the trails that I can do here and how good my medical history is and the strength I have to do runs and the intellect I have to do what I do on a regular basis. So having infinite money and all sorts of crazy things like magic and all that wouldn't really be necessary for me. But it would be fun to be reborn into a magical world, or be in the worlds that I love to read about and what I like to play on a regular basis. Be interesting to see all the creatures up close and learn from an RPG. That would be fun. And I'd also love to be in an anime one of these days and see what it's like up close, as if I was an anime character or not. It'd be fun. Would I ever write my own anime? If I had the chance? No, I'm good at designing characters, but sometimes the stories I write are not well received, or at least people don't read it that much, or at least that's what my experience has been writing blogs or writing it on social media. They would they log on, and then nobody on Facebook or Instagram would read it, or none of the people on my blog would read it. I haven't tried it on Twitter, but my experience is that it's better to stick with things that are not going to be ignored, like on social media, and just have fun with my artwork, which I'm always really, really good at, and I keep on improving over the years. Though I don't really get any feedback to tell me if I'm doing good or not. Many people do say I'm doing good, so I pretty much know that I am improving one step at a time. I even love the way my characters look now in all the artwork I do for Whole Live and Digizanji and all the different anime characters that I do fan art for. It feels like it has heart and warmth and a bit of fun in it. What would I do if I had a big garden? I definitely grow flowers, and then flowering trees, and make one end of the garden fruits, vegetables, and try to get little birds and everything attracted to my garden. Just like I would want to attract butterflies and honeybees. I would definitely want to put a honeybee area for a hive, so I could harvest honey on a regular basis. If I had a big garden, it would be really, really fun. That's why I try to make it that dream come true in Minecraft. Whenever I find a biome that I like so much, like a flower biome or something like that, I always try to build a garden, and then a farmland, and then I also build little tiny areas for the animals. I even bring in pandas whenever I can, when I'm using creative. If I'm far away from the bamboo biome or the jungle, where all the wonderful things are. I'm looking forward to when they can bring out the bamboo update. Then I can even do houses authentically with the bamboo and with my pet camel. It would be nice to see it one day. Just like when everybody's building their new places in the Universal Whole Live server. It's fun seeing them search for different places or find special structures that would be hard to find otherwise. Like Koyo-chan found the mansion. She wanted to go in, but it was a little too dangerous to solo alone. So she had Botan help, but neither of them ultimately claimed that place as a giant, huge, whole live universal house, because there's way too many enemies in there for them to clear on their own, especially with only 2 people in their team. It's also hard when most of their tools and items and weapons and everything that they had from the former file are in the former file's location, which they have to take a portal back to if they want to bring anything over. None of them have yet, so basically the new server is you could bring some stuff over, but it's just to start fresh and see how long you'd survive in doing something new. So far, they're doing pretty well which I'm glad for. No English members yet, so but soon, probably soon. Now that they're all settled in surviving their jet lag. Thank you for listening and hope you have a wonderful weekend. It's Chinese New Year. Gonna have that joy and have a wonderful time.